It's the Griddle Guru coming at you live from Mad City Smash House, West Side location. I've got a 19-inch dual burning Pitboss here. I want to show you guys real quickly how to season this bad boy. Seasoning really basically helps you prevent food from sticking to your griddle top. And so seasoning is really easy to do. It doesn't matter what size your griddle. It doesn't matter if you have a 17, 19, 28, 36-inch griddle. Seasoning is all the same. You only need a few things. You need a damp cloth. I put some soap on this, soap and a little bit of water. You need some canola oil or your oil of choice. You need some tongs. You need some paper towels. And some heat-resistant gloves would be helpful. So here's what we're going to do. Step number one, you want to wipe down said griddle with your cloth, your damp cloth. You want to wipe down this because there's some factory residual on here, and you want to make sure that you're just wiping that off there. Boom, done. Step number two, you want to turn your griddle on the highest temperature setting. So I've got this hooked up to a 20-pound tank already. Boom. That's burner number one's on high. Boom, burner number two's on high. What you want to do is you want to let this sit on high for 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Let this sit up for 10 minutes. What you're going to see over the course of 10 minutes is this griddle top is going to start to darken in some spots. After it starts to darken, what you're going to do is you're going to take a little bit of said canola oil, which I'm using. People use a lot of different oils. You're going to take this canola oil and you're going to, sorry, I had a little debris on my griddle, a little floaty there. Are you going to take your canola oil and you're going to just put a little bit on there. You don't want to put a ton on there because then it can get sticky. You just want to put a little bit of canola oil on top of there, and you're going to take your tongs and your paper towels, and you're just going to wipe it down evenly, including the sides, and you're going to let it burn off. What will happen is it'll start to smoke. Once you put the oil down, it's going to start to smoke, and then when it stops smoking, you'll do that again for 2 to 3 more times. So right now we're just waiting for 10 minutes for this surface top to start to burn. If you want to get a video of this top right now, you can see that it's pretty even, like a light gray color, but over the course of 10 minutes, it's going to turn dark. You're going to see some dark colors here. Once it starts to darken after about 10 minutes, again, put the oil down, wipe it with some paper towels, and you'll repeat that process 2 to 3 times, and then your griddle will be seasoned and ready to go. Okay, so it's been about 4 minutes. If you can look real quick here, you can see 2 areas starting to darken. So we have about 6 more minutes for this to burn. But this is exactly what we're looking for. We're seeing some really dark spots here. So again, about 10 minutes into this, I'll put some oil on here and then start rubbing it down. But I wanted you to see that there's 2 spots here starting to darken. So we have about actually 5 more minutes to go, and then we're going to put this oil down, rub it down real good, let it smoke off, and then when it's done smoking, we'll do that 2 to 3 more times. All right, so we've got our griddle. It's been on high heat for 10 minutes. If you can see this whole, like the two-thirds area of it has been darkened. And so what I want to do is, I've got my heat-resistant gloves on. I'm going to take a little bit of this canola oil here. And I'm just going to put a little bit. I don't want to put a ton. Whoa, there we go. See how it's starting to smoke? Boom. Take my paper towels here. And I just want to move this around. Hopefully you can see that smoke. And I want to just put, again, you don't want to put a ton of oil on here. You just want to get enough to cover the surface. If you get too aggressive with it, it gets sticky. So there we go. You see a smoke on there? I'm sure you're picking up that smoke. Rub that canola oil all around the sides here. Again, super helpful if you have heat-resistant gloves on. I'm just basically rubbing that oil all the way around here. I think I actually put a little bit too much, but that's okay. Again, I'm trying to get the sides of the griddle as well. Boom, boom, boom. Just like that. And I'm going to leave that right like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this. You see all that smoke coming off? I'm not going to put another layer of oil on there until all this smoke has burned off. So eventually this smoke is going to stop coming off the top of it. Once it's stopped, I'm going to put another layer down, wait for that smoke to go off, and then do it again. So you want to do this about 2 to 3 more times. And once you do that 2 to 3 more times, you'll look at your surface and it'll be like a blackish blue surface, and it'll be ready to griddle on, and you'll be able to get it like a non-stick surface. So that's what we're waiting for next. right, so that third layer of oil has for the most part burned off. There's a little bit of smoke coming off here, but we're ready to put our fourth and final layer of seasoning on here. So there we go. One last time, my canola oil on there. That smoke is billowing off almost immediately. Again, I'm hitting the four corners. I'm doing the edges, the sides, the whole 9 yards. Look at that smoke billowing off the top of that. Dear goodness. Oh my, getting choked up over here. So there we go. This is my fourth and final. I usually only do this about 4 times, and then I just start cooking on the thing, and it will start seasoning it more. But there we go. This is my fourth and final layer of seasoning on here. What I'll typically do right after this is cook some onions on here. Onions are also a great way to kind of build a layer of seasoning on the top of the griddle. We'll talk about why that's helpful in one of our podcast episodes. But there you have it. That's layer number 4. This is creating a non-stick surface for me to griddle on. After this burns off, I'm going to put some onions on here, and then I can start cooking. I appreciate it. Oh man, I'm getting choked up. Until next time, Griddle Guys, griddle on.